कथम् हृदयकुहर मध्ये केवलं ब्रह्ममात्रम् यहम् इति साक्षात् आत्मरूपेण भाति हृदि विषमनसा स्वम् चिन्वता मज्जता पवनचलनरूढा आत्मनिष्ठो भवत्वम् देहं मृण्मयवत् जडात्मकम् अहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्ततभावशुक्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भावतः कोऽहं भावयुत कुतो वरधिया दृष्टात्मनिष्ठात्मना सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचल शिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयम् सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचल शिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयम् नमो रमण. In this the Thursday Satsangh from Ramanacentre Center for Learning, as is our blessing, as is usual, we will be reading from Guruvachaka Kovai, the work of Muruganar Swamigal, translated into English. We will be reading 2 verses. Each verse reading will be followed by a short meditation on its meaning, and that will be followed by a practice of Atma Vicharam for 10 minutes. After these 2 segments of verse reading, meditation on its meaning, and the practice, which is how the book itself is designed, investigation, meditation, and anubhava. After these 3 are completed, then there will be summing up remarks by our president, Dr. Shardaka, and today that will be followed by Sri Ramanastotram offering by Vaibhavji and Pratnama. We begin this evening's satsang by taking up verse number 503. Verse number 503 selected for us. This appears in the segment Meditation on the Truth. This is the second verse in that segment. The subsegment is the greatness of Upadesha. The greatness of Upadesha, the Guru's teachings. Verse number 503. The Jnana Guru actually abides as both the Atma Swarupa and the Shiva Swarupa within the hearts of the devotees. Although in their externalized view, he appears and moves around as if he is different from them. I'll read that sentence again. There is one more sentence to go. The Jnana Guru actually abides as both the Atma Swarupa and the Shiva Swarupa within the hearts of the devotees. Although in their externalized view, he appears and moves around as if he is different from them. True jnana will not dawn for anyone who has not known experientially through investigation in the heart the essence of the Upadesha, you are that, which the Guru silently and unceasingly conveys to his devotees through the language of his gaze. True jnana will not dawn for anyone who has not known experientially through investigation in the heart, the essence of the Upadesha, you are that, which the Guru silently and unceasingly conveys to his devotees through the language of his gaze. You can read the whole verse again. The Jnana Guru actually abides as the Atma Swarupa and the Shiva Swarupa within the hearts of the devotees. Although in their externalized view, he appears and moves around as if he is different from them. True jnana will not dawn for anyone who has not known experientially through investigation in the heart. And the Guru is residing as Shiva Swarupa and the Atma Swarupa through investigation in the heart, the essence of the Upadesha. You are that, which the Guru silently and unceasingly conveys to his devotees through the language of his gaze. Now, the verse is so clear that Bhagavan is ever present within us. The Jnana Guru is ever present within us as our own Atma Swarupa, and the Shiva who takes care of everything for us. To the Ananya Bhakta, all his worldly affairs are taken care of by Ramana Shiva, by Ramana who is present within that devotee as Shiva Swarupa. That Shiva Swarupa takes care of everything. The Atma Swarupa is indescribable. There is nothing other than it for it to take care of. Now, this is how the Guru exists, though in the externalized view of the devotee. The Guru is a figure who is walking and who is present other than them. This was my sharing with Kanakammal when I met her. For courtesy or in real seriousness, I mentioned you are all really lucky devotees who could spend years with Bhagavan. And Kanakammal immediately stopped me. She said, you should say no such thing. That Bhagavan is Yuga Purusha. Once in a Yuga, you get such a Purusha, and such a one is always present inside everyone. The moment you think of him, he is there. No devotee should ever say that they have missed his presence in the world. All you need is to hold him inside, and he is definitely present there. Is what Kanakaman indicated to me that day, that the Guru is not the form that is outside and seems apart from us. And unless one experientially goes and finds this Shiva Swarupa and Atma Swarupa inside, which is present as the ever-present shining of the self, of I. Once you turn inward and let go of the vasanas which rise up as thought, the Shiva Swarupa, the Atma Swarupa rises and shines. And Bhagavan says, experience that. Hold that. And that will remove your I am the body, I am the Triputi, I am part of the Triputi idea which we get as experiencer, holding a body and experiencing the body. The Triputi is removed and we experience the Atma Swarupa. When we hold the I and remain quiet, not ask anything of the I. That's why it is said in the second line, true jnana will not dawn for anyone who has not known experientially through investigation in the heart the essence of the Upadesha. To Swami Natanananda, who asks in Upadesha Manjari as to what does Upadesha actually mean. Upadesha means, Bhagavan says, what the devotee or disciple feels is far away and very much separated from us and is to be got after great turmoils and sadhanas. The Upadesha is to bring that near and show that it is in fact really near you. It is in fact you. Thou art that. You are the truth. When someone comes and asks, oh friend, now that you have been in Bhagavan for such a long time and have been practicing Atma Uchara, can you tell me where I am? You must be knowing where I am blocked, at which point in my journey I am. Can you tell me so that I can benefit from that and continue the journey? The Anubhava of the Atma Jnani is not like that. The Anubhava of the Atma Jnani is that there is only the Atma. There is no Baddha at all. There is no one who is bound. The very journey the Atma Jnani might have assumed he has made, that very journey is absorbed in the self. There is no saying, I was at this point like this, I had Ajnana, I had this trouble, that trouble, and finally I came out to, no. In Atma Jnana, only the shining of the Guru as the Atma Swarupa is there. All journeys, all the paths are absorbed in the self. Now when you alone are there, when thou art that, when you alone are there, what is there to do? Krityamastikim swastitim yataha. To be yourself is the only thing to do. So the whole of Karma Marga gets absorbed in I am. Now when you alone are, when the sadhaka alone merges into the Swarupa of Bhagavan and he alone is, who is there apart to worship? The whole sadhana of Upasana and he is now absorbed in the Atma Swarupa of the Guru who is shining as I. The Bhakti Marga gets merged. All the Bhakti sadhanas we have done now gets merged in the self alone is. Now the Yoga sadhana of living the Bahirmukha, going Antarmukha, that there cannot be any outside in the Jnanam, and that union, that process itself is now subsumed, is now consumed by the I alone am. Thou art that. Who is separate to join with the truth? The truth alone is, so the Yoga Marga is also absorbed in the I alone am. And of course the Jnana Marga of moving from Ajnana to Jnana, that journey is also absorbed in the self alone is. And Guru alone is, Ramana alone is, as the Shiva Swarupa and the Atma Swarupa. There is no path, there is no one bound. When that friend comes and asks, can you tell me where you are? Bhattanan ennum matte bandha mukti sindhanil. Only so far as you identify yourself with, I am bound, there is this thought of bondage and liberation. Bhattanar endru tannai paarkum kaal. When you inquire into who is this one who feels he is stuck, Siddhamai Nitya Muktan Tanirka. That Siddha Vastu, that which is ever present, ever shining, the self rises and shines, and that alone remains. Nirkade Bandha Sindhi. There is no triad. The thinker, thought, and the thinking is now merged into the self I alone am. So the Bandha Sindhi is not there. There is no thought of bondage. If thought of bondage is not there, is there thought of liberation? Absolutely not. Therefore, one remains as the Atma Swarupa, the Shiva Swarupa, which has invited us in. and given us the Sayujya Padavi of oneness with the Atma Swarupa. In such a state, what is the gaze that the verse leaves us with finally? You are that which the Guru silently and unceasingly conveys to his devotees through the language of his gaze. The gaze, in the first sentence itself, Muruganar has cautioned us. Only by your outward gaze you think the Guru is apart from you. He has to look at you. Whereas this gaze is not, it's now clear. It's only the self-luminous self. The gaze of the self-luminous self. The sannidhi of the self-luminous self is the gaze that we are looking for. Not somebody looking at us and piercing our vasanas and separating that ocean of vasanas for a moment so that we can have a glimpse of the Atma Mukta. That is not the gaze that we are looking for. If one is experiencing the Atma Swarupa of Bhagavan inside, then the gaze is not from outside to you to clear the vasanas, but it is from within. The Guru is ever shining as I. Bhagavan is the Atma, which is present before creation, which is present during creation, which is present at the end of creation. In fact, the Atma alone is, Guru alone is real. Abiding in the Guru is most natural thing. And many of the devotees have expressed this as, when asked, now I am with Guru Ramana, they say. Now I am with Bhagavan. Bhagavan will definitely come and take me. All this indicate that their inner anubhava of the Atma Swarupa is so clear and complete that they have no doubts that they have merged in that gaze, the ever-present gaze, the ever-present self-luminous self. They are that. There is nothing else other than the self. What else can you be? When there is nothing else other than the self, what can you be? You are that, and you are not anything else. That is the Upadesam, the bringing of that which is felt as far away, that which is blocked as the nearest, and our own very nature, in which one has to go inside, investigate in the heart, and abide in it. And that's what we are going to practice for the next 10 minutes. Whenever a thought comes and makes us outward turn to feel that the Guru may be outside the senses or outside in the thought form, one should ask, for whom is this thought form? This thought form is for me, because I am also a thought form to see a thought form. Who am I? Removes my thought form and takes it to the source once. Each time we go towards the source, a little bit of attachment to the darkness of the body vanishes, and a little bit of light seeps in without reference to what conditions we are in. What more can the Sadguru bless us with? What more can Bhagavan give us? With great gratitude to such a Paramadhani, the limitless gift giver, let us sit in practice of Atmamchara and explore and merge into this great treasure, the Atma Swarupa of Bhagavan. Revathi, you can set the time for us. Namo Ramana. We proceed with the satsang by going to the second verse, verse number 840. This is also in the segment Meditation on the Truth. 503, 840. Both we find in Meditation on the Truth. This verse, the subsegment is the truth of sannyasa. The truth of sannyasa. Verse 840. Know that regarding oneself erroneously as being limited to the body and trapped in family bonds is a far superior renunciation to the state wherein one thinks repeatedly within one's mind, I have truly extricated myself by renouncing all the ties of this world. There is a note by Muruganar Swamigal and there is an extract from Talks with Ramana Maharshi. Before going into that, the verse again. Know that not regarding oneself erroneously as being limited to the body and trapped in family bonds, not regarding oneself. To be limited to the body and trapped in family bonds is a far superior renunciation to the state wherein one thinks repeatedly within one's minds, I have truly extricated myself by renouncing all the ties of this world. Muruganar, thinking I am a person who has renounced is only mental imagination. The state of truth transcends such imagination. Only the state of remaining still, which is the natural state, is true sannyasa, the nature of liberation. It is not thinking repeatedly, I am someone who has renounced samsara. Therefore, not thinking is a far superior renunciation to thinking. Like the thought, I am caught in bondage, the thought, I am one who is free from bondage, indicates delusion of regarding yourself as being limited to the body. When the delusion is destroyed, along with it, both these thoughts that I am bound or I am renounced, both these thoughts will cease. Unless the I am the body belief is present to some extent, there can be no possibility of the thought I have renounced. Refer to Ulladu Narpadu, verse 39. Oh, what a blessing from Bhagavan. So long as one thinks I am in bondage, thoughts of liberation and bondage will remain. When one sees oneself through enquiry, who is the bound one? The self alone remains, eternally attained and eternally free. Will the thought of liberation still remain, where the thought of bondage cannot exist? This was the verse we took up with Bhagavan's grace as a support in discussing the first verse, 503. There was no idea that Bhagavan would bring this again here. But that is his grace. That is how he is present as Shiva Swarupa. He arranges everything. We are doing nothing. All this is arranged by him so that the right blessings are present before the devotee. The talk that is under reference is talk number 192. Question: should not a man renounce everything in order that he might get liberation? Bhagavan: even better than the man who thinks I have renounced everything is the one who does his duty, but does not think I do this, I am the doer. Even a sannyasi who thinks I am a sannyasi cannot be a true sannyasi, whereas a householder who does not think I am a householder is a true sannyasi. It appears as though this discussion between Bhagavan and that questioner noted by Munagalji has perhaps been directly recorded in Tamil and translated for us into this verse, where Muruganar writes, know that not regarding oneself erroneously as being limited to the body and trapped in family bonds, despite the worldly situation appears to be like that, that there is a body and the spirit seems to be trapped inside the body, and not only that, this trapped spirit feels that another trapped spirit is the wife, another trapped spirit is the daughter, another trapped spirit is friend, another trapped spirit is enemy. So, if not thinking like this, one inquires, who am I? Despite by Ishvara's command that the body is still related in a family kind of way, then one can inquire, who am I? And free oneself of this bondage to the body and not call another as daughter, but as I know my daughter when I am in the Atma Swarupa. When I am in the thought-free state, I understand everyone in their true nature. When that is there, when that understanding is there, that I am not trapped inside a body, I am the spirit that has no conditionings, and the moment I am seeing myself, I am seeing everyone as that spirit. Such a one is far better off than somebody who says, I have renounced everything and I am a true sannyasi. And Muruganar says, to say I am a bound person or to say I am a great renunciate are both of the same nature in one sense, and both will not be present in Atmajnana. The sannyasi who has pride about his renunciation is not a sannyasi, says Bhagavan. Whereas a householder who does not think that he is a householder, such a one is the true renunciate. And there is this example of Professor K. Swaminathan sir, whose video is there on YouTube. You can go and see that. So he is very open about how he comes to Bhagavan and what transpires there. He feels, he's a professor of English, I think, in Chennai. He knows about Bhagavan and he knows about Gandhiji, and he feels Bhagavan is doing nothing, whereas Gandhiji is doing such a lot for upliftment, spiritually and otherwise. He says three things made him come to Bhagavan. One was, he says, that there was a rift between two of the youngsters in the family, his nephew and his wife, both very good people. But because of misunderstanding, they undergo divorce. And he says those days, in India, it was such a tearing thing. How can such a thing happen to good people that they don't understand each other and move away? And he was learning Brahma Sutras from a great teacher in Bangalore during his holidays. And the teacher said, do you know that the very exemplar of these sutras is there in Tirunamalai? Is none other than Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharishi. And as the last straw, Grandduff, who is a foreigner, he comes and says, what, professor, have you not met Bhagavan yet? And that makes him go. But the Brahmasutra Bhashya teacher has told him that going to Bhagavan is like looking at the abyss in Doddabetta. So don't go alone there. Take some ties, he says. Take some family ties and go. And he said, I took my wife, my past student and my present student. I was firmly tied up myself and then went to Bhagavan. Then he says the most beautiful thing that can ever be heard by any human being. He says, but Bhagavan is so wonderful that he never took away my ties. The same love for English, the same love for the wife, the same love for the child, the same love for the student, he made me see in a totally different light. He made me see as the Atma Swarupa. Not a thing was touched, not a relationship hindered, not a single hurt created. But the same things are now that pure Atma Swarupa. What a blessing it is to come upon Bhagavan's teachings. Should we lose this? And Grandduff says, Those who have missed meeting Bhagavan are really the unlucky ones. And Kanakammal's words, if we take, meeting his teachings is really meeting Bhagavan in person. Doing Atma Vicharam is to be in direct contact with Bhagavan, because Bhagavan is the Atma Swarupa. When we inquire, who am I? Where are we going? We are living these falsities and going towards Bhagavan, who is the epitome of renunciation. The self has renounced everything and effortlessly slow. What is there for the self to renounce? Everything is itself only. To that boundless grace of Bhagavan, let us go happily by practicing Atma-Vicharam for 10 minutes. Karatima, you will help us out. I think I can set the timing first. Okay, ma. Thank you. Namo Ramana. I request our President, Dr. Shafaka, to give us the summing of remarks. Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana, sir. Namo Ramana. Prostrations to Ramana. Shining as a self in all beings. By the immense grace of that self manifest as Ramana. We have been meditating on his words, and we had the great joy of sitting for the practice of self-inquiry as well. Because Nandakumarji often reiterates to us that Bhagavan is present. And today's verse was about that very presence as a further reiteration that Bhagavan is present. And the devotees have often reaffirmed this, that Bhagavan is present. Why Bhagavan? Bhagavan says, if we speak about anybody who has dropped their body, say we celebrate the Founders' Day, we remember Ramanacentre, he says the moment we talk about that person is present. So when we are talking about Bhagavan's teachings, when we are talking about his life, and more than anything else, when we are seeking his presence within, he is certainly present. Bhagavan also says that if you are thinking about grace, that means grace is already there. He says it is the grace which has brought you. It is the grace which is sustaining everything that you do. And most of all, the practice of self-inquiry. So Bhagavan is telling us that the most important thing and really the only thing to renounce, he repeatedly says, is the identification with the body. In Ramana Gita, he says, Sannyaso nirmalam jnanam, na kashayo na mundanam. He says that sannyasa, true sannyasa is pure jnana, nirmalam jnana, where there is no blemish whatsoever. What is a blemish? A blemish is the something other than what is. In milk, if you mix water, it becomes a blemish. The milk becomes impure because it contains something other than milk. And the way to purify it is to boil the milk when the water will evaporate and disappear again. So anything other than the self would become a blemish. So it is nirmalam jnanam. So there is no duality. That is sannyasa, says Bhagavan. It is not any other form of renunciation. Bhagavan emphasizes this. There are many householder devotees who have come to Bhagavan, including Sheshagiri Iyer, later known as Ramanadasa Sadananda, who have inquired about the need to renounce. And Bhagavan will say, what harm did your wife and children do? In fact, he has told devotees like Rangan, did you take care of your wife? Did you give her enough money before you came away to stay over here? How will she look after herself? Have you provided for her? All that Bhagavan would ensure that. And he would say, if you go away to the forest, you will have a thought. Now you have a thought, I am living in the city. Then you have the thought that I am living in the forest. What difference would it make if you are not able to drop the mind? So Bhagavan would emphasize that the only thing that is to be renounced is the false sense of identification with the body. He would beautifully quote the examples of those people whom he called true sannyasis. He would say the squirrel is a sannyasi because the squirrel lives for that moment alone. If you give to a squirrel a large piece of cashew nut, he says it will not know what to do with it. It will run hither and thither. It doesn't even know how to keep it away. A rat will keep it away in its hole. But a squirrel doesn't know how to do that. It only needs what it needs at that moment. So it has to be given that much. He used to break the pieces of cashew nuts in the correct quantity, which will fill a squirrel's stomach for that meal. And he would not give more than that to them. And he would say, look at the monkeys. They are the real sannyasis. They don't even build a house for themselves. They live on some tree or wherever they get space for the night, they live. Whatever food they get during the day, they eat that food. And they keep their young ones with them until there is a need for the young one to be kept. And then after that, they let them go. These are the true sannyasis, he would say. And that is what Bhagavan is teaching us, to go towards the true sannyasa of self-abidance. By doing what? By renouncing each and every thought in self-inquiry, says Bhagavan. Renounce each and every thought. There is no question of saying, I am renunciate, I am not renunciate, as a verse from Ulladu Narpadu was brought home to us twice today by the great grace. The question of being a renunciate or not being a renunciate, where can the question arise unless one has some sense of being a body? So Bhagavan says that is the thing to be renounced. So renounce every thought, even the subtlest of thoughts. Don't hold on to any thought. And then Bhagavan says it will naturally drop away. If one does inquiry and keeps dropping every thought, then ultimately in the ripeness of time, the grace will ensure that the final granthi, that knot of bondage, that subtle knot which binds one to the body, that knot will be cut by the Sadguru's grace. The granthi will be removed by the Sadguru's grace if one keeps on doing the little bit of renouncing the thought. That is the renunciation, the total renunciation of identification with the body. If we are not capable of doing, again Nanda Kumarji pointed that out. He said, if you keep on doing this, then it will automatically happen in the fruition of time. In the fruition of time, the true renunciation will happen. And we see in the lives of so many devotees, we will see that as they are even more so, we may see if they are nearing, some people say when they are nearing the point of departure from the body, we can see how Bhagavan has ripened them so beautifully. We can see the Bhagavan's presence shining from them in everything that they do. It will just be very evident. As even a common person may see them and say how aglow they are. Maybe very, very normal lives they will be leading. None of them have lived differently. The beauty of Bhagavan's teachings is that it is universal. He has not excluded anyone. He has not excluded anyone. He has not excluded any living being also. And he has declared this to the world at large by building samadhis in his own ashram, at the Ramanashramam, for cow Lakshmi, for Jackie the dog, for Vali the deer, for the crow, everyone. The samadhi has been built over there to say that there is no demarcation, no difference. What to say of what is sannyasa? So it cannot be a conscious renunciation. However, Bhagavan has also said that it does not mean that one is not having reverence for the sannyasa ashrama. It only means that Bhagavan is not excluding anyone. And he is also pointing out that there cannot be any mental sense of bondage with anything whatsoever. In fact, in the stories which Bhagavan narrates, he narrates the story of Nakirar, who came out of his Nirvikalpa Samadhi and opened his eyes and saw some leaf falling from the river. It turned into a fish and a bird and it flew away, and he just saw it. And he saw it, and Bhagavan says, Yoga Brashta. Just even to see something, to have the thought that I have seen, even that Bhagavan says is a bondage. So where is the question of a thought that I must renounce or I must hold on? Let everything happen in its natural course, Bhagavan would say, because as Muruganatha Swami has written down his words in the earlier verse, Bhagavan shines as the Ishvara within. So however he takes the physical body, in fact, when Swami Natanananda has asked him about the Brahmavit, Brahmavarya, Brahmavarishta and all that, he says, it's okay. The Jivan Mukta is not worried, and it happens according to Ishvara Ichha. How the Jivan Mukta expresses himself also happens according to Ishvara Ichha. And what to think about anything else? Why worry about anything? Again in Ashtakam, Bhagavan says, everything is just like a movie. It does not matter at all. It's only a movie. And this movie is moving in you, Arunachala. If it stops also, it stops only in you. So there is no renunciation apart from you. There is no movement apart from you. There is no bondage apart from you. There is no renunciation apart from you. Because he says, Nindrida, Sendrida, Ninaivida, Indre. Even if it stops only in you. So what is there to think about any movement, any manifestation? If it happens, let it happen. If it doesn't happen, let it not happen. This is what Bhagavan would keep asking us to have, that total surrender in manifestation and holding on to Atma Vichara internally by His grace, being aware of the rise of bondage, being aware of the rise of bondage in the form of thought, and allowing that to be renounced. Doing that tyaga, renunciation is most important. Tyagena eke amritatva manushu. It's only by renunciation. But what is true renunciation is what Bhagavan is pointing out to us over here. He is not saying don't renounce. He says you have to renounce. But what are you going to renounce? Renounce the ego. How will the ego renounce itself? It cannot renounce itself. But the moment it arises, it binds itself to an entity through the thought. There you renounce, says Bhagavan, with that beautiful astra of who am I, for whom is this thought, and who am I? And keep on doing this, says Bhagavan, incessantly. That is the renunciation, that is the tyaga that he is asking us to do by his grace. And by his grace itself, that enquiry will deepen and deepen until it cuts itself also off, until it burns itself also up like a camphor, as he says in his own Upadesha. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramana.
Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana.
May I request Vaibhavji and Partnama to render the Ramana Stotram? Namo Ramana, sir.
नमो रमण भारद्वाज विश्वनाथ विरचितम् श्री रमणाष्टोत्तर शतनामावली अपार सच्चित् सुखवारिराशे यस्योर्मि मात्रम् भुवनं समस्तम् गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदचिन्तयामि ॐ महासेन महंसेन जाताय नमः ॐ श्रीरमणाय नमः ॐ गुरवे नमः ॐ अखण्ड संविदाकाराय नमः ॐ महौजसे नमः ॐ कारणोद्भवाय नमः ॐ जगद्धितावताराय नमः ॐ श्री श्री भूमिनाथ स्थलोस्थिताय नमः। ॐ पराशर कुलोत्तंसाय नमः। ॐ सुन्दरार्य तपःफलाय नमः। ॐ कमनीय सुचारित्राय नमः। ॐ सहायाम्बा सहायवते नमः। ॐ शोणाचलमहोलीन मानसाय नमः। ॐ स्वर्णहस्तकाय नमः। ॐ श्रीमद्वादशान्तमहास्थले लब्धविद्योदयाय नमः। ॐ महाशक्तिनिपातेन प्रबुद्धाय नमः। ॐ परमार्थविदे नमः। ॐ तीव्राय नमः। ॐ पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः। ॐ इन्दुमौलिना पितृमते नमः। ॐ पितुरादेशतः षोडशैलं प्राप्ताय नमः। ॐ तपोमयाय नमः। ॐ उदासीनाय नमः। ॐ महायोगिने नमः। ॐ महोत्साहाय नमः। ॐ कुशाग्रधिये नमः। ॐ शान्तसङ्कल्पसंरम्भाय नमः। ॐ सुसन्दृशे नमः। ॐ सवित्रे नमः। ॐ स्थिराय नमः। ॐ तपक्षपितसर्वाङ्गाय नमः। ॐ पुल्लाम्बुजविलोचनाय नमः। ॐ चन्द्रिकासितः शश्रीमण्डिताननमण्डलाय नमः। ॐ चूतवाट्यां समासीनाय नमः। ॐ चूर्णिताखिलविभ्रमाय नमः। ॐ वेदवेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञाय नमः। ॐ चिन्मुद्रिणे नमः। ॐ त्रिगुणातिगाय नमः। ॐ विरूपाक्षगुहावासाय नमः। ॐ विराजतचलाकृतये नमः। ॐ उद्दीप्तनयनाय नमः। ॐ पूर्णाय नमः। ॐ रचिताचलताण्डवाय नमः। ॐ गम्भीराय नमः। ॐ परमाचार्याय नमः। ॐ सुप्रसन्नाय नमः। ॐ अभयप्रदाय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणास्यनिभाय नमः। ॐ धीराय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः। ॐ स्वराजे नमः। ॐ महर्षये नमः। ॐ भगवते नमः। ॐ ईड्याय नमः। ॐ भूमविद्याविशारदाय नमः। ॐ विमलाय नमः। ॐ दीर्घदर्शिने नमः। ॐ आप्ताय नमः। ॐ ऋजुमार्गप्रदर्शकाय नमः। ॐ समदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्यदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्याय नमः। ॐ प्रशान्ताय नमः। ॐ अमितविक्रमाय नमः। ॐ सुकुमाराय नमः। ॐ सदानन्दाय नमः। ॐ मृदुभाषिणे नमः। ॐ दयार्णवाय नमः। ॐ श्रीशोणाचलऋद्भूतस्कन्दाश्रमनिकेतनाय नमः। ॐ सद्दर्शनोपदेष्ट्रे नमः। ॐ सद्भक्तवृन्दपरिवृताय नमः। ॐ गणेशमुनिवृन्देन सेविताङ्घ्रिसरोरुहाय नमः। ॐ गीतोपदेशसारादिग्रन्थसञ्चिन्नसंशयाय नमः। ॐ वर्णाश्रममतातीताय नमः। ॐ रसज्ञाय नमः। ॐ सौम्याय नमः। ॐ आत्मवते नमः। ॐ सर्वावनिमतस्थानाम् आराध्याय नमः। ॐ सर्वसद्गुणिने नमः। ॐ आत्मारामाय नमः। ॐ महाभागाय नमः। ॐ मातृमुक्तिविधायकाय नमः। ॐ विनताय नमः। ॐ विनुताय नमः। ॐ विप्राय नमः। ॐ मुनीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ पावकोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ दर्शनादगसंहारिणे नमः। ॐ मौनेन स्वात्मबोधकाय नमः। ॐ ऋचाङ्किकरसान्निध्याय नमः। ॐ स्मरणाद्बन्धमोचकाय नमः। ॐ अन्तस्थिमिरचण्डांशवे नमः। ॐ संसारार्णवतारकाय नमः। ॐ शोणादृशस्तुतिद्रष्टे नमः। ॐ हार्दविद्याप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ अविच्युतप्रज्ञाय नमः। ॐ नैसर्गिकमहातपसे नमः। ॐ कमण्डलुदराय नमः। ॐ शुभकौपीनवसनाय नमः। ॐ गुहाय नमः। ॐ दण्डपाणये नमः। ॐ कृपापूर्णाय नमः। ॐ भवरोगविषग्वराय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दाय नमः। ॐ देवतमाय नमः। ॐ अमर्त्याय नमः। ॐ सेनान्ये नमः। ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः। ॐ श्रीरमणभगवते नमः। श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनामपूजां समर्पयामि। यस्थानोररुणाचलस्य पतयोः स्मृत्याजलिं प्राप्यत दिव्यानुग्रहसुप्रवाहविवशस्तादात्मभावं गतः विनिष्टस्वगभीरनित्यतपसा लोकान् पुनासेकराट् तस्मै श्रीरमणाय ते नम इदं लोकोत्तरज्योतिषे। ॐ नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय।
नमो रमण।